right, we're gonna give it another minute or two to let people keep cycling in. Don't want them to miss out. But this will be recorded and we'll be posting it, so if you do miss out, you should be able to see it later, hopefully.
Yeah!
Yeah! I'm nervous, guys.
How about that?
Actually, Chaz, why don't you give us an intro with your silky smooth voice?
Hey everybody, welcome to the Fire Emblem Heroes Fire Emblem Mainline Series panel. I'm your host, Choosy, back in the black with another extreme Fire Emblem panel. And we're here to turn this anime into Anna Awesome. That's all I got.
Very good, very good. All right, we're gonna get started, but for any folks that can't make it in, if they don't let you into the room because we're full, this will be uploaded. Sorry that you can't sit in here. I would be fine with people sitting in the back, but it's probably a fire hazard, so.
Yeah. Fire hazard!
So we're gonna get started. Welcome to the Anime North 2019 Fire Emblem Panel. There have been Fire Emblem panels here in the past, but this time around we've got a bunch of pretty popular Fire Emblem YouTubers and streamers up here. So we're gonna go down the line in case you're not familiar with everybody here and introduce ourselves and share one interesting, hopefully Fire Emblem related fact about them. Let's start it off with Nimious.
Hey guys, you might know me for mostly Fire Emblem Heroes streaming. That's where I started getting really into Fire Emblem. I've been called a fake Fire Emblem fan before.
By me?
But I've mostly played most of the games. I just haven't played most of them. It's hard finding time. But I do, my favorite series is the Talia series, and yeah, great.
Hi guys, my name is Goosaphone. I'm also primarily known for streaming. I started streaming on Twitch like about a year and a few months ago, and then I started up a YouTube channel where I've been doing like Let's Plays of ROM hacks and mostly the GBA series, but I've played pretty much everything except like the original NES games and stuff. And I guess a cool thing about me is that I play the ocarina and I am in an ocarina video game band, and it's fun.
Let's give Nims a clap too. We didn't give Nims. There we go.
You know me.
Alright, my name's Pavise. I make video essays on YouTube.
Yeah!
Thank you. I make videos like you might have seen Hit Rate Lie, Choosing Your First Fire Emblem, or History of Fire Emblem Manga. I make video essay style content, and you know, it's one of my favorite things to do, and I love doing it. A Fire Emblem fact about me. I'm an Awakening baby, but that doesn't stop me from going back and playing like most of the series. But Awakening was my first game, and man, it was a ride. So.
There's nothing wrong with starting with Awakening. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. What's going on? My name is Stevie. I run the YouTube channel Lucky Crit. We've been doing a lot of Three Houses news and analysis lately, trying to get hyped up for the game, which releases on July 26th worldwide. And yeah, I've done Fire Emblem and YouTubing for about, what's it been, 3 years now? It's been a little over 3 years. But an interesting fact is, I actually like the guidance system in Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, where you have to have less than 15 surviving units, which means that you need to actively try to get your units killed. I know that was a hot take, all right. I like it. All right.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mangs, and I have been around here for way too long. Started playing Fire Emblem on YouTube back in 2011. That's like back in the Stone Age. I run a Fire Emblem channel, mainly Fire Emblem themed, doing a lot of Let's Plays. I think what I'm mostly known for though is shit posts and memes. Poop posts. Poop posts. My bad. But I also do other videos. I think like a fun fact about me is that I don't know, people think I'm really bad at Fire Emblem. I don't think so, but I mean, people are entitled to their opinions, I guess. Binding Blade is the best game in the series, but not because of Roy. But Roy is cool though. And yeah, thanks for the applause.
How is up, everybody? It's your boy Choopy Choosy back in the clack with another. I already did this. Okay, so hi, I'm Choopy Choosy, Chaz Aria LLC. That's my business name, and that's what I stand for in life. I am a Fire Emblem YouTuber. I used to do Fire Emblem Heroes, but then that poop got old pretty quick. I still play it once in a while.
Keep it positive, Chaz. Come on. Hang in there.
I got a 5-star. I got a 5-star last night. If anyone wants to see it after the panel, on my free. So yeah, I make Fire Emblem content, scripted, and I like to. I'm single, but I still have some growing up to do.
How's it going, guys? I'm Ghast. I run a channel called Gas Station, or Ghast these days. I'm not really sure. I kind of fluctuate between both. I do scripted content, support science. Who here has seen support science? Yeah! Awesome. Yeah, so I do support science, Fire Emblem plot reviews, let's plays of games that are like modded for like ROM hacks and stuff. Fun fact about me, I OG Gaiden fanboy, I guess.
Just play Gaiden, bro.
Just play Gaiden, bro.
How many times?
No, but like 10 seconds. Nobody?
All right, so just out of curiosity, how many of you know somebody up here? You've watched their content before, maybe you saw their videos. Well, good amount. Well, thank you guys for coming out, and regardless, I hope that you'll enjoy this Fire Emblem panel. I think the big news is Fire Emblem Three Houses, so we're going to start off with that. There's a lot of people that are nervous about the game because it looks pretty different, but I think it would be cool if we each shared what we're most excited about for the game. Let's start it off with Nimious once again.
Oh, cool. Definitely my favorite thing is it reminds me. Wow. It reminds me a lot more of the Telly series. I've always hated how we're always starting out as like lords, or like this is your destiny. This is what you're supposed to be doing. But as as more detail comes out, it's starting to look like this is part of your destiny. But either way, I like the amount of freedom and choices it is, and it's so different from the past Fire Emblem games. I was just looking for something fresh and new, and that's why I'm so excited about the game, because I just have such high hopes for it being so different.
Your choices really matter. So I'm pretty optimistic about Three Houses, or I try to be, but as like news is coming out, it's being more character driven, but what I'm really intrigued about is the gameplay. I really like it when intelligent systems kind of goes outside of their comfort zone, because especially going from Awakening and Fates, it definitely seemed that they're like, okay, well, lightning struck once, it'll strike again if we do this, but they're taking a really different approach from anything else in the series. I'm excited to see the gambits and like see how they bring like combat arts and all the reclassing. I really like that it seems it's going to have a lot of replayability. Every time you go in, it seems that you can teach your units different skills. They all have strengths, weaknesses. You could go with a different house. I don't know, I just really like games that are replayable, because like when I was a kid, like since 4th grade, I think I played FE7 like, I'm not exaggerating when I say like at least 30 times, and I want Three Houses to be that for me, so.
I'm actually, I've been pretty vocal about my skepticism of the game, but there is a deep-rooted excitement that I have for Three Houses. Even if I'm trying to temper it, because whenever I get hyped for something, it kind of sometimes sets it up to be a bit of a disappointment. But I'm actually really hopeful that Three Houses is like going to be the game that kind of like proves me wrong, or proves my skepticism wrong. I really love how they're just thinking outside the box and trying really new things and just experimenting with a bunch of new mechanics. A lot of Fate stuff that was kind of playing it safe on what Awakening had introduced, but Three Houses is like introducing a bunch of crazy new mechanics. And I'm interested to see how they play off one another and how they create kind of a new Fire Emblem experience that I think like none of us are familiar with. They are changing up the structure, and they're changing up almost everything about how the game works, and hopefully it'll pan out. And I'm really excited to see from a mechanical standpoint how all the parts come together to create something something new and unique for the series. I think that'll be really intriguing to see.
I gotta say I'm with Goose on this one. I think the replayability is what I'm most excited about too. I like the fact that we have to select between the 3 different houses, and also you don't have to buy the DLC to play the other houses this time around. I think that's good. I'm kind of hoping that they will remain as separate entities throughout the game and not just kind of group up later, because I do think it would be really awesome to be able to experience 3 different sides to the 3 houses story, picking each one, trying out the different characters each time around. Yeah, I'm really stoked for that, absolutely.
So, who here likes Edelgard? Good taste, good taste. I like you guys. They're all great. Yeah. But Edelgard's a little bit better. So, I love it when a new Fire Emblem game is about to be released. It is the most entertaining, exciting period in the Fire Emblem community, just sitting there watching the news come out bit by bit. At this point, I don't care if the game isn't good. I think it will be, by the way. I think it's going to be very good.
I think so too.
But even if it's not, like, it's still exciting. I think Ghast said it best when I talked to him earlier. He said, like, they're not going to make a bad Fire Emblem game. It's going to be enjoyable to play. Personally, I'm very into the old games. I'm just like an old school Fire Emblem fan. So when I heard that Holy Blood was making it back, contra like Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War, I was just like, oh my god, I love this game now. I love this game. That's all it takes, really. Just throw back to the old games. I'm pretty simple like that. So I think it's going to be a great game. I'm so much looking forward to picking the Black Eagles, although I'm very disappointed about not getting Raphael. Oh, so handsome. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Three Houses. I think it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, I haven't ever played a bad Fire Emblem game in my life. They're all freaking amazing.
Fire Emblem Heroes?
That's one of the best ones, honestly. 2017 game, rise up. I'm on the bold fighter train. But here's the thing, like, my expectations have to be completely curbed for this game because I came into Echoes way too high and was just trounced by even though that game's amazing.
What's wrong with Echoes?
My expectations were so high.
You're gonna have to fight them.
Tread lightly.
You see what I'm between here? This is like...
Was that Echoes was the best game?
You guys can settle this later, all right?
Okay, listen. I believe that every Fire Emblem should be completely different. It should be like Final Fantasy, where they do something different with every single series, or every single entry. The only ones that haven't done something new, I guess Awakening. I've never played that game. I've heard it's good. We're being positive. Anyways, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. I'm ready for the memes.
Thanks, man.
So what I'm really excited about, and Goose and other folks here kind of already mentioned it, is the mechanical density there is in this game. Everything that comes out really feels like brand new material and things we can really talk about and have videos about and analyze, because it's all brand new. But at the same time, while they have all these new things, there's always these kind of callbacks to the older games, like Holy Blood and how crests are kind of like the spiritual successor of that. They might not have para, but they have combat arts again. And we saw that in Echoes. So it just seems kind of like this big kind of amalgamation, I guess, of all these great mechanics, both old and new. And I think I don't know how you cannot be excited about it. And like kind of I said before with Mangs, I don't think Fire Emblem can make a bad game. I think there's merits to each one. No matter how good or bad our experience is the first time, there's always that aspect of replayability or aspect of just kind of, what kind of units you want to work on or what kind of skills. There's so much depth to it, and I think if you really like Fire Emblem for its depth, then Three Houses I think is really going to hit the bill. And I'm a Blue Lions boy.
Yeah, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, so really excited for it.
All right, yeah, so to just continue off of that, why don't we go down really quick and just have each person explain which house they're thinking of going with, and just a quick reason why, starting with them.
That's pretty easy. Edelgard, there's the only waifu there, so...
That is not true, okay? Not true.
I'm going Golden Deer. Everyone knows archers are the best class in Fire Emblem. Just kidding. I like to think the game more of a challenge for myself. So because I use archer and I still win, I'm the best Fire Emblem player. But no, in all seriousness though, I don't know. I like clawing upside down. It's a me. Golden Deer, baby.
I haven't been following the news, or like I don't even know the house names, but the Golden House, the Golden, what's that? Yeah,
Golden Deer.
The Golden Deer, yes, the Golden Deer. Claude looks just, man, he looks so sick. Like his outfit is on fleek, all right, and he's that upside down stuff. Basically, he's got the memes, he's got the looks. Like that house has got it all going for it. So.
I'm the kind of person where each time I look at the house and the students that we've seen so far in each, I'm like, that's the one. And then I go and I look at the next house and I'm like, that's the one. I think I'll probably end up doing like Dimitri and the Blue Lions. After this, I'm actually curious to find out what the split is in this room, so we will ask you guys too. But each one of them is good. I'm excited for each of them, and I can't wait. I can't wait to find out more about the students and stuff too. I don't know what it is that makes me pick the Blue Lions, but some people here, like they do 2 seats to my right, don't like Dimitri's noodle hair, but I like it, dude. I'll take a blonde Ephraim. What's wrong with that?
He's just trying to be a hipster.
Okay, so even if Edelgard isn't your thing, Dorothea has a JoJo hat. She has a JoJo hat. That's insane. I mean, she does lose it on certain class promotions, so that means we won't reclass her.
Pupil for life.
Yeah. And I mean, if Dorothea isn't your thing, we got Petra. I mean, the Black Eagles have the best waifus. Case closed.
I'm gonna have to say Edelgard and the red team. Team Red.
Black Eagles.
Team Black. So I just think that I really like physical female characters. Like I like Wendy. Or Gwendolyn. I guess that's her name now. I love Meg. So I honestly do like those characters. I don't care what you guys say. So I'm looking forward, and I love white girls.
So, like I said before, I'm most excited for Dimitri and the Blue Lions. What I kind of saw from like the very first trailer that came out, it kind of struck me as like the Blue Lions kind of have more of a mature cast, and that was from that one scene where Dimitri's sparring with Didu and
Felix.
Yeah, so that's kind of what kind of struck me. And the characters that I tend to gravitate towards are ones who kind of they're more kind of lived in, they're more sort of veterans rather than like kind of young students. So that's pretty much why, from just kind of like a first impressions, that I'm going to stick with the Blue Lions. But yeah, like Stevie was saying, each time they have a new reveal for another character, it always kind of pulls you away from what you wanted before, because oh man, like that character looks really, really cool, or like that design is really awesome. But I mean, again, that just kind of plays into the whole replayability and the depth that this game's going to have for our experience.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get a calm show of hands. How many of you are thinking about joining the Black Eagles when you play the game? At least the first time. Yeah! We'll consider first place. Okay. All right, hands down. How about Blue Lions? Okay. I didn't think that was the underdog. Golden Deer. Wow. See, I thought that I know this isn't a Pokemon panel, but I kind of thought it was going to be Team Instinct all over again. The yellow team, Pokemon Go. I mean, those guys are cool, but it's like quality over quantity, you know what I mean? I'm Blue Cheese.
Next question, please.
I'm Mystic. All right, next. So we're also going to talk about Fire Emblem Heroes. So what's one of the things that you would like to see in Heroes? We'll go, let's have an option for it. Either a character that you want to see, a new mechanic, or just what you're excited about with Heroes right now, starting with them.
So, as a streamer for FEH, the biggest thing I'm looking for is more community interactions. Right now, the game is like very single player orientated. I mean, you have a friends list, but you don't really do much there. So, I play other gacha games. One of the big parties, one of the things I want is like, guilds, raids, co-op play, anything to do with other players, because I think that's what really adds value to the game.
All right, so I do actually really agree about what you said about like the raids. Like I'm not super into Guerrilla Lost, but I did dabble in it a little bit, and the like raid battle things, like where you have like a big boss, that was one of my favorite things. Like if you think about I guess they're kind of turning a lot of them into mythic heroes, but if you think about the final bosses, like if you take like, not to spoil anything, but like the Demon King from FEH, doesn't even a spoiler, whatever. If you think about like him, and like you're just having like four motifs, and you're having all your friends like collab to beat like this big boss, I think that'd be so cool. And I feel like normally when they come out with a new game mode, it does kind of feel like the same thing. I really did like what they were going for with Ether Resorts with like all the customization, but then they added in like the mythic blessings, and then I just got really depressed. So yeah, I would also like to see some co-op and an all-floor Florina, please. That would be good.
The mechanic I want most is another Lucina alt. I think it would make the game a lot better if it was just another Lucina alt. I'm weird how that goes. But on a more serious note, I do really agree with all those statements about multiplayer. Whenever I play Fire Emblem Heroes, it almost feels like it's in isolation. One of the my favorite things I've ever done was Chaz's Rival Bromain streams, where everybody came together and played like Grand Conquest all together, controlling one hero each. That was so much fun. That was like the best time I ever had playing the game. And I wish there was just more of that opportunity to where I didn't feel like I was in like a vacuum when I'm playing the game. I think that would really go a long way to give it like more replay value and just more value in general. Because I've been otherwise, you know, I haven't been finding a reason to turn it on, and I think multiplayer or some form of just, like Nim was saying, community interaction, that would really go a long way to make the experience more enjoyable.
All right, so I like Ether Raids. It's definitely the most stressful mode, but I also think that it's also the most rewarding, especially when you're really winning in the Ether Raids. I think it feels like the best mode in the game when you're really on a good streak. But yeah, it's definitely the most challenging. And I do have to agree with them. I would like to see some more features to interact with friends. I know it'd be difficult for them to like send messages to friends and stuff, but even if there was just a way to send like images of your summoning screen or stuff to your friends within the game, or something a little bit more than that, like with the castle guests and visitors, I think they could go in a really cool direction with that, so I'd like to see that. But I've still been enjoying the game. I like it a lot. How about you, Mangs?
So they added Louise, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who voted on her. I am so happy, guys. You have no idea. This made me just love Heroes again. Yeah, this is all I wanted, really. So, but I mean, I play Heroes very casually. I'm of the opinion that Heroes is a side dish best enjoyed in small amounts. So I play it a little bit every day. I don't play it super hardcorely. I don't have many inputs on new modes and new characters. I just want them to keep adding new characters instead of alts. Because every time they add new characters, there's so much excitement. And let's get some of the more obscure characters. I know it's not the most popular thing, but let's get some Tracia 776 characters in here. Let's get some genealogy characters. You know, come on. I know it's a bit of fan servicey to the older games, but I think it would just make it makes people more interested in the older games, which is what I advocate. You definitely should go back and play them. But yeah, I do hope that they eventually add main Louise though, not just bridal Louise. But you know, I'm not gonna ask for too much. I'm pretty happy with it.
Who said that?
I am of the opinion that they need to utilize the currencies they currently have in the game instead of adding more. It's really overwhelming at this point. There's a reason why I dropped it personally. It was just too much to do, and it's best, like Mangs said, played on the toilet.
Toilet Heroes!
But keep on adding new alts, or else just end it now. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta be the devil's advocate.
I'm really excited once Garrett comes into the game. I have a feeling that he's going to be a Tempest trial unit because Joshua and Marissa have been. So I've been like hoarding all my feathers for like this really silly rationale that like once it comes out, I'll have like 200,000 feathers ready to go. I'll have enough grails for it. But kind of what everyone else was saying about more interactive modes. One thing that I found kind of a disappointment lately was when Allegiance battles came out. I tried to, don't get mad, I unfriended all of you except for one. It was Stevie.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to see if I can replay with Stevie's unit the entire time, but there's always like that 8-hour like wait limit, which really disappointed me because that kind of spoiled some opportunities for like collaborations where I could like play with one unit and like one friend for like half an hour, just taking turns controlling like.
You weren't using my video right. You weren't using her right.
Yeah.
You didn't use it right.
Well, she's bad in general.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Anyways, yeah. So I hope there are again more interactive modes. I guess more use for currencies and some more characters from more obscure games. You know, like Garrett. That's it.
Absolutely. I also thought for the next topic to talk about, it would be really, really cool to share what our favorite Fire Emblem memories are, because for a lot of us, we've been playing these games for many, many years, and it's probably some of these memories that keep us going and keep us really in love with the series. So I just thought it'd be cool to share that. You prepared for that, Nim?
Yeah. For me, my favorite memory would be if you guys play the Atelier series and you remember the first time you see Ike's Father Grail go against the Black Knight, and that was such
Spoiler alert.
Oh.
It's alright, we spoiled enough about the Black Knight.
It's a really
we
old.
spoiled everything.
Right.
It's an old game.
It's okay. But that build-up was so amazing because he was like, I don't need my sword against you, boy. And it was just the build-up to it, the clash, but ultimately what it led to and everything, the entire journey, I loved that being the catalyst. That for me was such a special memory.
Can I share like a painful memory?
How positive is this painful memory?
It's just about
Happy
1%.
pain?
It's about a 1% crit that like. It's like the reason I stuck. It's the reason I stuck with the game as much as I did.
All right, I'll allow it.
So when I first started playing Fire Emblem 7 when I was in 4th grade, and I was like very bad, and I was like, thank God, like all the people that you killed come back after Lin mode. So like that's how bad it was, and I just pretty much like soloed the game with Marcus for the most part. But once I got to Elwyn mode, not as many people died. But I had like there's this position, and it was in the last chapter, and like. Most people were in range of like Linus's tomahawk, and the only way I could like survive was if Oswin like just took a hit, and it would have worked. And then Linus got a 1% crit on my Oswin, and I just like sat there, and I was like, no. And then you know what I did? I was like, you know what? Screw it. It's the last chapter. I'm gonna go so aggressive, and like everyone but the 3 lords and Athos died. And then I saved over it too, so I couldn't go back. Like it was just the epilogue. And then the epilogue said like, this tactician was so bad, we don't know how the war was won. I was so offended that I'm like, I'm gonna go online and I'm gonna find how to get good at Fire Emblem. And that my entire life has been led up from that moment.
There's other endings in Fire Emblem 7, but that tactician How do you get them?
My favorite Fire Emblem memory has got to be the first weekend I played Fire Emblem Awakening. It was my first Fire Emblem game, and it was just like, there's some kind of games that when you play them for the first time, it's so hard to describe how you felt like the first time. And that was for me for Fire Emblem Awakening. I'd never played a game that was even rated above like E10+. So Awakening's story and everything in it was totally new to me. Like I was just a fresh-faced baby, and this game just absolutely just changed how I looked at games, and it's probably the reason I'm like literally sitting here today. That weekend where I just played for like from beginning to end, like one weekend, it's something I'll probably never forget, and it's the weekend I fell in love with the series pretty much, and why I keep playing to this day.
I think for me, I first discovered Fire Emblem in a Nintendo Power magazine. They had a little write-up of just the first couple of chapters of the game. Really easy stuff, but they were explaining the mechanics of the game. And I must have been in like 7th grade in middle school, and I was taking the bus, and I asked my friends if anybody had the game, and one of them did, and he offered to sell it to me for 20 bucks, so I was super excited about that. I went home, I got the 20 bucks, next day I went on the bus, like a typical middle schooler, he forgot to bring the game. I think that happened like 2 or 3 times, but eventually I finally got it, and yeah, I've just kept playing the game since then. It's been incredible. I love them. I love each one of them, even if there's things that I don't particularly like the most about them. I just think that each one is such a unique experience that it's just fun to go back and play each one. So.
Oh boy, there's so many stories. Only have time for one. I picked up on a trip to Japan. I became very good friends with one other guy who I saw playing Sacred Stones on the bus. I just walked over to him. I was like, "Hey, you play Fire Emblem? I play Fire Emblem. Let's play Fire Emblem together." So on a student trip to Japan, we found this old school store where they sold Nintendos and the old cartridges, and we picked up Fire Emblem 3, Fire Emblem 4, and Fire Emblem 5, and we played through those games throughout 2 summer vacations. It was so incredibly magical to sit there and play on the cartridge. I mean, he understood a little bit of Japanese, so he had to translate. We didn't get half of what was going on. He mistranslated a bunch of stuff, but we got some of the memes. And I'm not gonna spoil, don't worry. I'm gonna finish this off by just explaining how we reacted after we finished the first generation of Fire Emblem 4. I'm not gonna spoil it, but we got to that ending, and I hope they remake that game one day so everyone can actually experience that. Some of you may have been spoiled. We just sit there and we cried. 2 men sitting there, we cried. We cried, and we just look at each other, and it was super awkward. And he was like, "Yeah, I better get home." I was like, "Yeah." Same time tomorrow? It's like, "Yeah." And to be able to experience that unspoiled, because I had no idea what was coming, and if you ever want to play Fire Emblem 4, oh my god, what a moment. I literally cried while playing a Fire Emblem game, and I think that moment was what made me a fan of the franchise. That's when I said, I'm gonna start playing Fire Emblem videos and upload them to the internet and have people laugh at me.
My moment is Mangs' moment, actually. Same thing, Chapter 5, Genealogy of the Holy War. I played it completely blind, and it shook me to the core. And now every significant other I have in my life has to play that game. I tricked them, and I do it very, okay, anyway. I'm not gonna do the same thing that Mangs did, though. So I think my stream of Horatia 776 that I did, the ending of that game, the character reveals, there's a character reveal I'm not gonna spoil, that everyone saw coming but me. So it was like, you guys know who I'm talking about? Yeah, anyway, I'm not gonna say it, but it was very impactful to me, and I just moments like that, I hope that people in the future get to experience, regardless of how Heroes doesn't really care about the plot points of the game.
It was November 21st, 2001. I opened up my GameCube and I started playing Super Smash Bros. Melee for the first time. In all seriousness, when the Gaiden remake got announced, it was when Shadows of Valencia got announced for the first time, I was trying to set up a Twitch stream where I could do a live reaction. And I was in the middle of setting it up, and it, the Chronicle, or Something of Valencia came out, that first screen, and I was like, Something of Valencia, or Chronicles of Valencia, and I was my mind just blew, because Gaiden is my favorite Fire Emblem game. From way back in the early 90s. Seeing a game that was so kind of ambitious for its time, and me playing it thinking that it was before its time, all of its mechanics and kind of RPG elements and things like that. That was such a step away from Fire Emblem 1. And to see my favorite game be remade in such a surprising way, I just didn't see it coming at all. And I was almost in tears towards the end of my reaction. I just didn't know what to think. It was once Celica and Alm got their portraits shown, I was like, this is insane. I was just speechless. It was.
If you're having a bad day, you should watch that video.
That is a beautiful reaction.
It'll make your entire day better.
Yeah, it's just such a good memory of mine. I will literally never forget it. It's also on 18+ websites. I'm not even kidding.
I've tapped to it.
Okay, we're gonna do a little Q&A in a couple. Oh, you have one more? Really quickly, one more.
Yeah. So I got a new favorite Fire Emblem memory this weekend, actually. And that was meeting all of these people for the first time. Because we've actually never met before. Like I think some of you guys have met, but most of us have never seen each other before. We almost got thrown out of a restaurant yesterday because we started summoning heroes and we screamed so loudly when we got 2 5 stars. They told us that we need to like pipe it down, and that might actually be my new favorite Fire Emblem memory.
You guys want to do questions, right? All right, so can we have a nice, slow, single file line approach this microphone here in the center? 1 question per person. We're going to try to keep it quick. We've only got 15 minutes before we have to give the room to the next panel. But we'll try our best.
All right.
Thank you for being respectful. Thank you.
Thank you.
We can also, when we leave this room, if we can find some space downstairs or out back, we can talk a little bit further after this panel. There is also the Fire Emblem cosplay meetup that's going to be happening after this. That's where we'll be headed. So if you want to either talk to us on the way or meet us there, for sure, try to do it there. First question though.
Okay. So you know how in Three Houses you play as a teacher?
Yep.
What kind of teacher are you going to be like?
Well, I've actually been a teacher in real life, and I was a good teacher, and I'll leave it at that.
He's not a teacher anymore. I'm going to leave it at that.
Sorry. Sorry to hear that.
I think it's going to be interesting because you'll be able to tutor your students and even make them better at things that they're not good at. So I'm sure that we'll see a lot of crazy playthroughs where people are just using gauntlets all over the place. You're not going to be able to use them on mounted characters or peg knights or anything like that, but I can already tell that someone's going to do a Let's Play or something where all of their units are just punching people in the face, you know, crazy stuff like that. So I don't know if you qualify that as a good teacher or not, but I'll probably be a decent one, I don't know.
Thanks, man. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Hi there. Sorry.
Can everybody tone it down a little bit?
Hi, sorry. So this is sort of relative to the supposed Reddit leaks of Three Houses that Mangs.
Can we do this one without spoiling people?
Yeah, no plot spoils, any of that. It's just the rumor that supposedly the maps in this are a bit more Echoes Awakening, Birthright, a bit less Conquest, Thracia, Radiant Dawn. Does this concern you at all, or do you think that mechanically speaking, it'll make up for the potential shortfalls of maps? This could be nothing.
It does actually concern me a little bit because I have this thing, like you can skip the story, but you can't skip bad maps. This is one of the reasons why I hate Revelation. I try to keep it positive here, but map design seems to be something that they've forgotten a little bit about in the later games, except for Conquest. Conquest was pretty good. So I am worried, but we should really take those leaks with a big pinch of salt because there has been so many fake leaks out there. Although I will say, they're looking more and more credible by the moment. So, but yeah, I'm a little bit worried, but I think that if the story's good, the characters are good, and all the mechanics are good, we can probably get by. I mean, I enjoyed Echoes, despite it having pretty lackluster map design.
I think it'll be fine. Thank you.
Less of a question, but like it's really nice to meet everybody. One people who can make it is Mecca, who's actually streaming right now. So I'm wondering if we could get a round of applause for Mecca, since he's actually listening to the panel right now.
Yeah, spectacular.
So I don't know if everyone else is on board with this, but like I thought it would be really cool if we could just get like one of my friends that I play Smash with, he has to yell Ether every single time that Ike does not beat. So I was wondering if like we could all, everyone in the room, just do like a really loud like Ether.
All right. When I say 0, then you say ether.
Okay.
Say what?
Oh yeah, let's get the cameras ready. Yeah, we're gonna say ether, all right? On 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, thank you.
That was sick. That was awesome. That was such a good idea.
How's it going?
Hi. Thank you. So we can't choose the same voice actor as Tobin. Thought I should mention that first off. And second, this is a question for all of you. Do you prefer Alm or Celica's army? Like,
Let's go down really quick.
I'll go Celica.
actually really like Alm, but I wish he had more flyers. 3 classic.
I really like Alm's maps, they're a lot of fun.
Everybody craps on Celica's path, but I really like her teammates, her units a little bit better. I think some of the cooler, I guess, edgier people are on that side. I don't know. But every time I play Alm's Army too, I'm like, nah, I like that. It's the same thing as Three Houses, I don't know.
One route has Claire, the other route has Ests. I'll leave it at that.
Just Celica. I like both maps.
Both maps.
Celica, because I think Act 4 has great map design.
There you go. Thank you.
Hi. Before I ask all of you, there's a question important for Mr. Mangs. It's very important actually. Mr. Mangs, do you know the enduring doesn't know growth rates?
I wasn't aware. Thank you.
And also another question I think for all of you, like, since Fire Emblem 16 is coming up, so how are you guys gonna are you guys gonna do like a collaboration or just play solo or play perfection?
I don't know what I'm doing. I have no clue.
I think people are going to do Let's Plays, we'll probably do some stuff, but yeah, I think it'd be awesome to do some kind of a collab with everybody at some point, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I got no plans.
This is like a question for all of you, and it is like, what's your favorite class, like promotion class in the Fire Emblem series?
Yeah, start with Nip.
I love Wyvern Knights. Or Draco Knights, just riding on like giant dragon and being physical. I mean, that's just too cool to me. Magic stuff, just give me the big dragon, that's all I can say.
Gale Force aside, I love Dark Flyers. I just love Flyers in general, Wyverns and Pegasus Knights, and like Lances are my favorite physical weapon, and I also really like Magic.
I really love the Halberdier and Soldier classes. Those are so much fun. I love having the foot soldiers turn into these just awesome beasts that can just wipe out so many soldiers on their own. That class tree is so awesome. I love it.
I think overall throughout most of the games, for me, it's Swordmaster. It's just one of the more edgy classes. I don't know. That one does it for me. Most people fell in love with Lyn the first time they played Fire Emblem 7. I fell in love with Guy.
The first time I saw the Paladin GBA crit animation, I giggled like a little schoolgirl, and I still do it every time I watch it. And for that reason, Paladins are just the best. They are the best class, objectively speaking. If you don't think so, you're wrong. And they look the best, except for Isadora.
He's just trying to impress Mecca.
The fighters.
That's all I got. My favorite class promotion is from Mercenary to Hero. I think generally Mercenaries have really, really great base stats, and GBA Heroes have the greatest animations in Fire Emblem.
Oh yeah.
Period. So that's mine.
Thank you.
Thank you, friend.
What's up?
So, I got a question. What advice would you give to people who want to get into the Fire Emblem YouTube community? Asking for a friend.
Make content that you want to watch yourself.
Yeah, I think you have to be passionate about it, but there's also kind of a push and pull in terms of figuring out your niche, like what you're going to do that kind of other people haven't done before. I mean, there's always space for more people, absolutely, because you might like certain things about other people differently, but I think when people are the most successful is when they come up with a really creative sort of structure for their content, whether it's a series or something like that. Right?
Yeah, I think people have this kind of, I guess, mental block where they think if someone's doing something already that they can't possibly do that same thing. And I really disagree with that. I think the Fire Emblem YouTube space is still so new, and there's not a lot of people who are there's just not a lot of people in it. So there's always room for people to come in and even if they have a take that might be similar to anyone here, it doesn't matter. You're always going to have your own unique take, or your opinion is always going to be your own. So I would just suggest make sure you have good audio, and just say what's on your mind, and share it. Because people want to hear people talk about Fire Emblem all the time. I mean, look at this. This is insane. So just
yeah, thank you all for coming, by the way.
Do your thing, boss.
Awesome, you guys rock.
I just want to be a realist with you, real quick, but you have to. The majority of Fire Emblem players, I'm not gonna lie, their biggest exposure right now is to Heroes. And if you really want to, if you're doing this for yourself, whatever makes you happy, go for that. But if you want to get exposure, you gotta go with what's big right now. That's gonna be Heroes and that's gonna be Three Houses. And if you start from there, you'll have momentum. So start there. That's my suggestion.
Thank you.
So this is a question for all of you. So what I wanted to say was that for me in Fire Emblem, the art is one of the most important things to me about it. I love the character design. Like that's really what got me into it. And without fail, I've always loved the art, except for maybe the first 2 games, except until Three Houses. And it's not that I dislike the artist because I've seen her other works and they're amazing. I just felt like she was not a good, her art was not a good fit. I remember when I had seen Kozaki's art for Awakening and Fates, I was sort of like, oh, that's a bit like modern looking compared to the past ones, but it still fits. And then with Shadows of Valencia, I was ecstatic because it had the same vibe as the older art. And now I'm sort of having a lot of doubt looking at the art. And I just want to know like if anyone else feels the same way, because for the most part, everyone is either they absolutely hate it or they love it. And like, I don't know, I haven't really heard of any other nuanced opinions.
Definitely different as you are to it. But I'm always open to having my mind changed. Always open to it. It's gonna be really weird when they're like in Heroes and everyone has like huge Rebecca eyes and then we have tiny pupils right next to them. But besides that, yeah, I'm open. I'm indifferent about it as well. But it's at least looks stylized in a way.
It's definitely growing on me. I like it the more that I see it, which is why I think I'm also getting more and more hyped as the games come out. So hopefully it'll grow on you. But I like the fact that it feels different than the other stuff because I think like if we did like Kozaki, for example, forever, it would just be, I don't know, I feel like that would kind of overstay its welcome, you know?
Yeah, I was already kind of getting a little fatigued by Kozaki from Awakening and Fates, but for me, like Fire Emblem has always been able to keep it fresh with its like artistic direction, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I enjoy the kind of visual presentation of Fire Emblem so much, because there's always something new, right? So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I also just wanted to add, unpopular opinion, I think Dorothea's hat is the worst design decision Fire Emblem has ever made.
That's alright, she loses it. Just promote her.
Yeah, you can just promote her, it's fine. I respect you for having unpopular opinions.
Thank you.
I know she loves it, and I saw her and I was like, oh, this is awful. And then I was like, I love it, and I was like, oh no.
Thank you. What's up?
I just want to say it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys too.
Thanks for coming in.
No, thank you for coming to us.
I was going to ask where's Mecca, and then that guy asked already.
Mecca's here, you'll just never know who he is.
Oh, it's good now. But I was going to say,
He's right.
In our heart, in the pitfalls of our heart. Okay. But I was going to say, what's your favorite, Mangs, what's your favorite poop post video that you made, you or Mecca made?
What we made?
Like one, like either Mecca's video or your video, poop post.
Oh, I just really enjoyed the back and forth we had when he made like a parody video playing me, where he did a very good Mangs impression, better than he should have a right to do, honestly. And Bartra dying to a double axe crit was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I got a couple of things to say first. First of all, I'm really excited to meet you all in the flesh. I've been looking forward to this. And a second, am I the only one who didn't notice that Awakening's 3D models had, hooves?
No, me.
Yeah, I didn't notice at first.
Yeah, I mean, I think you get over it pretty quick if you notice it. Some people didn't notice it. I think it was an engine limitation, but they got that cleared up by Fates. I don't know, it's okay. It doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, got a question for Mangs here. What is the hardest you've ever laughed at a Fire Emblem game?
Rewatching my first playthrough of Fire Emblem 6 was pretty bad.
Can I see that?
Thank you. Thank you. Remember, just one question. Yeah, we got a couple more minutes here. We got 4 minutes, so if we could go quickly, I'd like to get to everybody.
But I'll make it quick. We've heard about your favorite Fire Emblem games. What are your least favorites?
Ooh. All right, really quick.
Sacred Stones.
Thracia.
Birthright.
Revelation.
Yeah, it's probably Birthright.
Revelations for sure.
I don't have one.
Flame Thrister.
Thank you. Thank you.
Greetings. Hello. I've just got a question. Considering your channels, have you ever thought of maybe expanding your repertoire, maybe going outside of Fire Emblem or anything like that, or do you want to strictly stick with Fire Emblem?
Nobody likes it when we do. Keep those animals in their cage.
I think it's important that when you got a gimmick on YouTube, you should run with it. And you should, if you've established yourself as a Fire Emblem personality, that's what you should continue to do. Nothing wrong with people expanding or branching out. I think that's a fine thing to do. But I spent 6-7 years building up a Fire Emblem audience. If I suddenly swap to something else, that's going to feel like betraying my audience. They tune in to watch me play Fire Emblem. I mean, I can do the occasional game every now and then as a sort of a branch-out thing, but I think it's important that when you do YouTube, you stick to one choice and you stick with that. You become that guy.
I think if you're gonna do that kind of stuff, you gotta ease into it, yeah.
Honestly, as somebody who's tried branching out and kind of dipped my feet in it, it's always discouraging when the videos don't perform as well. But there's always been success stories in the community of people who have branched out. I think Donkey is a great example of that. He used to be exclusively League, and he branched out because of his personality-driven content. And I think it's totally reasonable if somebody wants to branch out, and I've thought of it, I'm trying to do it right now, but you gotta commit. If you don't commit to it fully, and you don't accept that that new kind of brand you're building for yourself, it's not gonna work. You can't just straddle the line between the two, you gotta commit to one thing, or commit to branching out.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm actually here on behalf of one of my friends who couldn't make it today. And he would love it if you guys could advocate Benny for Fire Emblem Heroes, because he's been waiting since day one for him to be added in.
Oh yeah, more armor. Let's go.
Yeah. Vote for Benny.
Vote for Benny.
Benny for Heroes. There you go.
Actually, it's one of my favorite base characters, so I fully support that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello.
Well, first off, I'm very happy that everything commit. I was very excited when I saw Mangs, the Bald King Mangs himself. I was freaking out because I'll finally hear Mangs in his actual voice, not through a computer anymore, right? So I'm very happy that all of you can make it out. My question would be that how do you think about the way the difficulty was made in Conquest? Not that it was hard or not, but I always felt that was either put stupid skills, put more ninjas, or make a stupid trap that if you didn't have the right unit, it would just get baited into it.
I'm very much an advocate that game is not balanced around the actual game itself, but around you expected to exploit My Castle and DLC. I think it's kind of inflated. I consider I'm pretty bad at Fire Emblem, but I'm better than... I don't play on normal because it bores me, and I usually play on hard. That was insane. Even on hard was insane for me. And a lot of people will disagree with. They'll say, "Chaz, you just suck." But I'm telling you, it felt like torture to get through that game sometimes. And I didn't use any My Castle or anything like that, but it was really, really difficult. Especially the end game was. Oh my god.
Yes, I agree. I do like the way the Thracians, you yourself saying, it's like they're selling out Thracian, it was more of a genuinely hard game, lack of resources.
Yeah.
Also, real quick, do you guys think sign stuff? I would like you guys to sign.
Yeah, find us afterwards because we're gonna have to leave the room now. Yeah.
We'll be by the photo shoot, the Fire.
We're going to the Fire Emblem photo shoot. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, guys. We're gonna have to wrap it up here. But if you do have questions for us, you can find us afterwards at the Fire Emblem cosplay event, or
Thank you so much for coming in.
you can add us on Twitter.
Thank you! Leave a like and a comment. It really helps out the channel a lot.
Oh yeah. We also have a guest book that if you guys would like to sign, we can't do it in this room. We need to leave this room. But if you find me, I will let you sign a guest book that's for Anime North. So after this, thank you.